Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with
Dave.
And today we're going to start a new series, just give you a brief overview, and that's DM tools. We've talked a lot about, don't do this.
But before we get into that, let me tell you what to do. And that is to go into the description below and find a newsletter and sign up for it, where you're going to get weekly tips from Nerdarchy, as well as learn how to game with us.
So, DM tools. We've talked a lot about different things that we tell them not to do.
Yeah, like we're and like here's a little bit into the history of that, and the reason for that is, essentially these are lessons that as dungeon masters, myself, Ted, and countless others have had to learn the hard way.
Right.
First of all, being a dungeon master and creating adventures is a lot like going to war, right? Your plans and strategies never survive first contact with the enemy, aka your players.
Now, there was a time where you literally did view it as that. That DM screen was the battle line, and you were out for blood. You were out to kill players.
Modestly, it was very old school.
Well, yeah.
Hard adventures, but to say that it's a killer DM, honestly, what killer DM couldn't actually kill all the players every time they played the game?
Absolutely. You have access to everything.
There's no safe haven. Like, we're not leaving the tavern. That's okay. A meteor's going to hit it. And then the monsters are going to come out of it.
So, yes, in that essence, yes, any DM who wants to kill a player absolutely can. There's no player who can survive a DM.
The onslaught of a DM.
But there was a time where it was a battle line. You put out hard adventures, and if we were not smart enough, strong enough, wise enough, we were going to die, and you didn't care.
Yeah, to some extent, I want to go back to that a little bit. In the sense that I don't want, I feel like, the whole game, and we're getting way off topic on this one, but the whole game in itself has really evolved to this point where you're not supposed to put out encounters that aren't of the appropriate CR level. That's bullshit. In a living, breathing world, you're going to around the corner and be like, oh crap, I can't fight that.
Right.
You better come up with another plan.
Right.
And run away is always another plan.
So getting back to, sorry for our, tirade. Getting back to what it is, we talked about what things not to do.
Yeah, and we always talk about how, if you,
over planning. Let's start with that one.
Both me and you have done the thing where we essentially write a module. I don't know about you specifically, but I draw out all the maps, and I would write out all the information I need for the encounter. Then I'd write my own flavor text, and then I'd put the stats for the monster there, his treasure, magic items, and maybe some other tactics and strategies he might use. And I would plan the whole session like that.
I've done similar, but maybe not to as much detail. I've kind of always been a little bit more on the fly DM for, flavor text or verbiage. But there's times that I will sit and think about it, but I'm not usually writing it all down. I'm not usually putting it all out there to be like, okay, well, this and that happens.
I used to write it down, and I would write it like a module and be like, PCC. Yeah, and then on a good day, I wouldn't actually say that, PCC.
Right. So we tell you not to do this. And the reason why is because, as Dave previously mentioned, your plans are not going to survive first contact. I have literally written an entire session, and the moment that I say go, the player's like, all right, I'm taking a turn out of, I'm turning left instead of right, and we're going to go do this other thing. And I've had sessions that is like, okay, well, I have to completely improv everything because the players didn't communicate to me what they wanted to do, and they just completely went in another direction from what I had planned. So it's like, well, chuck this aside.
Well, here's another thing too, and here's a tip or tool for you to insert in your game right now. Right, this is even only the introduction. We haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes yet. Right, with this video, so. You know what Ted does now? He goes, what are you guys going to do next session? What is your plan? That's a legitimate question to ask your players. Why wait? Why wait for them to show up for you've written all this stuff? Another bigger problem of writing the session is writing the campaign, writing the arc. I know of GMs that have done this, and I think one of them might be sitting next to me, where they've written out the whole campaign in their head and big details on things that are going to happen way down the road. Now you can make these plans and you can create the arc, but literally it should be an outline and it should really take you
As
like
vague-
15 minutes.
As vague as possible. All right, Horde of the Dragon Queen. You want to write this, culmination is they fight a dragon. Okay. That's your final culmination. Everything, before that, you work up to that. But if that's the plan, you just say fight a dragon.
Right,
and let it go.
If you have key points along the way, like a sentence for each.
No more than that.
Yeah, and as you get closer to those things actually coming to fruition, then you can go into more depth and more detail when you know it's going to happen.
Right.
Here's what's the point of happen if you don't follow this piece of advice and don't do it this way. Not for everyone, but for a lot of GMs. When you start investing a lot of time in your game and in the sessions that are coming, it becomes a lot harder for you to ditch them. So if your players want to go another way, you instantly you want to push against that and you want to force them to play your adventure because you did all the work.
Right.
But if you don't put in any work, it's really easy for you to go, oh, well.
Yeah, and we've been in that style of game before as well, where the DM uses every trick to get us to follow his prepared material.
Yes.
And
I know a lot of you guys have been in that as well.
Yeah, and it's challenging to deal with, and we wound up, after so many times of that happening, we forcibly retired our characters so that we didn't have to keep that up.
It gets frustrating from your players, and it's frustrating from the DM's standpoint. And so, in order to not have that happen, this is what you should do to avoid it.
Micro planning.
Yeah, micro planning. But there are things you can spend plenty of time working on, and in future videos, that's what we're going to discuss.
Right.
We're going to discuss those tools that you can use and you can pull out, and it's never going to have been a waste of time for you to do. They're always going to be things that are going to be helpful, and they're actually going to help you be able to improvise better, tell richer and deeper stories, and engage your players on a much deeper level.
So, what do you guys think about us exploring this concept a little bit more? Put your thoughts down below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can go check out the articles on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time, stay nerdy.